Well, welcome to the Grapple 3 podcast. You join us on a very special episode because we've got not one, not two, but three guests with us today. We're joined by Matt Farmer from DEFY Wrestling. We're joined, of course, by the DEFY Tag Team Champions, Harv and Gurv, the Bollywood Boyz. We're here with them ahead of the huge All In weekend, the DEFY Progress crossover show. It's going to be a huge weekend for wrestling. First of all, guys, I'll start with you, Matt. How are you? How's everything going?
Oh, it's going great, man. We've been running this summer pretty hard, and it's going to culminate August 26th, Electric Ballroom. So we're really looking forward to it. We're really looking forward to bringing DEFY Wrestling to the UK, and it's our goal to bring a legitimate DEFY event to the UK.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. Guys, what about yourselves? Like, how much are you looking forward to coming over? Because am I right in thinking you've not done a UK show as on the indies before?
Off the top of my heart, have we?
I worked years ago for the Knight family. I did a couple of camps, the holiday camps.
Okay.
But I think this is the first coming out party of the Bollywood Boyz and what people know us as. So we're excited about, bringing that, as what we're our, DEFY Tag Champs and what we've accomplished since then.
I mean, one of our goals 2 years ago, once we got released, was to work for the top independent promotions, out there. And, Matt and his team reached out to us within, I think, hours of the news being out there. And obviously they took care of us getting us visas. So, and, that made our life so much easier just working in the States. But all that ties in with the UK because, we wanted to work for all the major promotions and DEFY Progress being two of the best ones out there. And here we are, linking up with both of them to come over to the UK, and we can't wait.
Yeah, I was going to say, because you mentioned that there, and Harv, I'll ask this to you. Coming out of WWE, we've spoken to a couple of people who have left things like NXT and stuff, and there seems to be not necessarily an anxiety about leaving, but that little voice in your head, will I be popular? Will I get back on the indie scene quick? Will there be those bookings for me? Did you ever have any of those sort of? It sounds like you didn't even have time to have any of those sort of worries. The speed that Matt got in touch with you.
There is obviously a little bit of anxiety, but we were so confident in our ability because we were different performers by the time we got released. And I was mentioning we've trained with Shawn Michaels, Terry Taylor, got to sit on the learning tree of Triple H and Randy Orton, AJ Styles, all these guys that we got to work with in a main event picture and down in NXT. And then when we did come on the independents, it was we wanted to showcase what we could do because I don't think we didn't really have an indie run before WWE. We were just local indie guys and we got signed. So this time around, we talk about working for DEFY, a top promotion, Progress, a top promotion. That was our goal. We wanted to work for the top promotions, and it doesn't get bigger than DEFY and Progress. It really doesn't. And I'm not saying that because Matt's there or, because we're coming out. And I mean that DEFY and Progress are probably the top independent promotions in the world.
Yeah, and Gurv, for you as well, that must be, and again, it's kind of odd, I don't normally ask this question to wrestlers when the promoter is here as well, but that must just be a really nice feeling to know that straight off the gun, there was someone there who wanted you guys in and got it done super quick and wanted to as well push you the way you've been pushed there.
Yeah, it's funny because Matt and his team reached out to us right before we got signed. I think early 2016, summer of 2016. And we're actually we're just heading out now. And so as soon as again the phone call came, you get your release notice, and within hours, Farmer texted us, got in touch with us, and first thing I told him was, hey, we don't have work visas anymore come September, and they took care of that right off the bat, and we're very blessed because without those work visas, especially nowadays, you'd be stuck in just Vancouver, up in Canada, that's about it. But because of the work visas, we've been able to get around. And again, going back to what you were asking earlier, the fact that we're able to take what we were just learning under the learning tree of some of the greats down at the Performance Center and bring that to the independent circuit. And Matt, you can attest to this. Every single outing we've had with DEFY Wrestling, we've applied everything we were learning. And our matches are a lot different than, most of the tag matches you'll see on the independent circuit because we try to take what we've learned from guys we grew up watching and putting that old school with the new school.
Yeah, which is great. And you can see that as well, in your body of work and how it's developed over that time, which is cool. And it's cool to hear you guys say that you've sort of learn in that way as well? Because I think a lot of people from outside look at it as like, you know, WWE's where you like have learned and then you're like through and then you're like the formed wrestler after that. But like that's not always the case, and you are always learning stuff as you go along, especially coming back.
Sorry, just one thing I want to add to that is like the biggest compliment we've gotten after a lot of our shows, especially like just outside the States, people are like, "That's you guys? Where was this on WWE television?" It's like, well, you know, here we are. We're getting to showcase what we can really do. So that's when you know what you're doing is working. When the fans are coming up to you and they, "Hey, we had no idea you guys can actually go ahead and perform like that." Yeah.
There have been. I won't go into the number of people we've had on the podcast who have left WWE and said similar, where they're like, you know, maybe they didn't get the chance to showcase all they were about in those scenarios. But we could fill a whole podcast just talking about that. So it might be safer to move on. And for Matt, like for yourself as well, what was it about the guys that like drew you to them and wanted you know for you to get them in for so long, even like before they'd signed?
You know, this, I don't think I've ever told the Bollywoods this before, but one of the things that attracted me to them at first, not only was, I mean, I've got my own eyes, so I could see their talent and things like that, but it was Buddy Wayne, Nick Wayne's dad, who actually, like, passed along, was like, these guys are good guys. They know what they're doing. They know how to work. They're professionals, you know, and off his recommendation was why I reached out to them in the very first time and back in 2016. And as a matter of fact, that first time in 2016, I was booking a show for another company, and I was actually going to try to book them against the Young Bucks that night. So, but, you know, then they went on their run. When they came back, it was off of that recommendation from Buddy Wayne that I really was like, oh, man, these guys are kind of like kindred spirits, because Buddy and I got along so well, and we understood the way we thought about the business was very similar. And because he gave them that recommendation, I figured our ideas on what we think wrestling should be is going to be very similar. And it has been. And man, I could tell you one thing. Everybody that saw the Bollywood Boyz on WWE TV, they're going to be shocked and pleasantly surprised when they see them at DEFY, because they're on like a different level now. And when they do get signed eventually to another company, they're going to I think just this experience alone is going to propel them to another level once they get to that position.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like that must be the thing for you guys as well, to like prove yourself again in front of the British crowd, but in front of this crowd who's not maybe seen your work in person that you've been doing throughout all this time at DEFY, and really getting to have that match, and against a team like Sunshine Machine as well. Like, I mean, that was announced, and you just know that's going to be a cracking match. You just know it's going to be like 5 stars.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, like, you know, going around wrestling teams, like, I mean, we wrestled the Rock and Roll Express a year ago, you know, so when we say we want to wrestle the best, we mean it, right? You wrestle old school, new school. We've had such a blast this last 2 years now. And, you know, finally coming, I feel like what we're going to do in the UK is kind of like the culmination. You know, you look at that weekend, AEW, they're about to break records, and like, all these people from around the world that come in, DEFY's coming with Progress Squad, a show. And for us, 2 years later, we're coming to this like massive event as the DEFY Tag Team Champions. For us, it's kind of like the culmination of our 2 years of body of work that we were kind of talking about to showcase the world, because there's going to be people from all over the world. I believe they're going to be there, and we get to show. And there's going to be a lot of buzz. There's going to be a lot of social media hits. So now we're excited. And, you know, again, working the best tag teams, that's what it's about, is, you know, proving your mettle.
Yeah, and go for yourself. Like, obviously, Sunshine Machine, I think, was it today or yesterday, TK put out like this sort of like tweeted this like promo video that had been going around with it, and like that looks great, that looks fantastic, and like it seems like a match that they really wanted as well. Like how exciting is that to be coming up against? Because I would say, like, I don't know if like in terms of, if you're aware of it, of like how much you follow them, but I would say they're like, in terms of fan support, probably one of the top 3 most popular tag teams on the British indie scene at the minute. Like, people love them. Like,
yeah, no, I saw the hype video that they posted, and you know, it was a beautifully done hype video. It got the story across within like 2 minutes. You know, it gets over both tag teams. It tells what they're looking for, what we're looking for, and you know, it ties in the fact that, you know, even though we've been around for so long, you know, we're trying to keep our spot. We're trying to prove that we're number one, and that we want to lead London with our tag titles, so, and right now our confidence is sky high, and this business is all about confidence. And once you hit that stride and your confidence is next level, there's nothing stopping you. And to your point, I feel like we're going to put out one of the best tag matches, of the weekend right there. And, people are going to witness it, and people are going to see the best of the Bollywood Boys, because we're not going to hold anything back. And our goal is, again, to get on this plane in Vancouver, get to the UK with the tag titles, and get back on the plane with the tag titles.
Yeah, and that's what I loved here. And I've got like a sort of a question that's the same, but I'll ask it in two separate ways for Matt and then for yourself, guys. Going on from what Gurv said, I mean, like, again, like, this weekend's huge in fans' minds for British wrestling, because obviously AEW's over, their first show, huge crowd at Wembley. But also, like, we've got the Progress Defy show, Eva running 2 shows along with Choco Pro, Rev Pro are running, and there are a couple of other smaller indie promotions running as well. Like, all on that Friday, Saturday. I mean, like, for you guys, like, Harv, Gurv, like, what is it for you in terms of, like, I don't want to say, like, a pressure to, like, put on the best match, but, like, how do you come about, like, oh, we're going to make sure our match is the match of the weekend. We're going to make sure our show is the show that people remember when there's so much going on.
Well, this weekend, for me, the hype around this weekend in the UK, it's very similar to, like, the hype around WrestleMania weekend in the States here. The fans are going to be crazy. They're going to be electric. There's going to be fans from all over the country. All over the world, actually. And we're going to be in the Electric Ballroom, which is, the Electric Ballroom. That's a legendary venue.
Yeah, it's like the home of British wrestling.
Exactly. It's like, it's one of the best spots to be at. The fans there are rowdy. They're going to be very similar to how the fans are here in Seattle. We're really looking forward to it. I think for DEFY itself, we're really looking forward to proving ourselves on that international scale. That's why we're bringing over all the heavy hitters. And so we're just super excited to put our product in front of more eyes.
Yeah, and guys, Harv, Gurv, for yourself, like, I'd ask the same to TK and Mambo if they were the ones on the podcast now. What, like, not necessarily giving anything away in terms of, like, if you've got anything planned, but, like, how do you guys, as the in-ring talent, sort of view it in terms of, we want people to walk away thinking that not just DEFY progress, but also that our match was the match of the weekend, when there's, 5 promotions running and, like, maybe, like, 8 matches per promotion, so there's, like, 40 matches going on that weekend. How do you make sure you guys, like, steal the show over there?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think Gurv can attest to it. It's so crazy. Gurv and I, we don't get nervous, or we don't get nervous anymore. And sometimes we'll be standing there, Matt, we just before we make our entrance, like, we're so confident in our ability. And we used to get so nervous. And full disclosure, when we were down in NXT and WWE, and we would get so nervous because it's a different breed. And once you've been there, you're able to channel those nerves and put it into your performance. So I know for a fact there's nobody on the independents like Gurv and I. Bollywood Boyz, we are so unique from a character standpoint, from an in-ring standpoint. There is nobody, I would even say nobody on TV that does what we do, right? So we are so confident in our ability that we don't care about other people. We just know that match, that tag match that's going to happen on August 26th, it's going to give the fans something they've never seen. And I know, Gurv, you're probably going to say something similar along those lines.
Yeah, biggest thing for us, man, like, we have a chip on our shoulder. It's been over 2 years now since we lost our jobs. And, like, if you look around, a lot of the releases that happen, a lot of people they've landed and they've ended up in positions, or they've gotten their jobs back or have landed jobs elsewhere. Like, here we are still plugging away, still, still punching the wall, still knocking on the door, still showing up with a smile on our faces and still delivering and still, like, showing up the next week. And so, our entire career has been built around just grit. That's the best way to describe us. So for us, having that chip on our shoulder inside of us, yes, when we're out there, the Bollywood Boys, we're doing our Bhangra dance, we're doing everything, the crowd's going ape shit. But the fact of the matter is, we're pissed off on the inside. You know what I'm saying? So that right there puts the fire. And we're pissed off every single time. We're like, why, what's taking us so long? You know what I'm saying? To get back on our feet. But the fact is, our confidence there, and again, to what my brother was just saying, that, we're different. Our confidence is there. we know who we are. Once you know as a talent, as a performer, who you are in that ring, everything else is so much easier. And it took us almost 16 years to kind of figure that out. And the DEFY audience in Seattle, God bless them, because they have helped us get to that next level. And wherever that next level is, this weekend we're showing up at the Electric Ballroom, and I promise you, it's going to be electric.
I just want to add, because remember years ago, William Regal told us every time you have a match, you're fighting to put food on your table. And that doesn't ring a bell until you lose the job and you realize, oh crap, this is real. This isn't storyline. This isn't wrestling make-believe. I'm putting food on my table. I'm putting a roof over my family's head. This is real. And I don't think people realize that until you make it to the top, and then you have to fight your way back to the top. So yeah, when we show up, whether it's Washington Hall, whether we wrestled in Trinidad recently, wherever we go now, we're fighting to put food on our table. This is real for us. This is our job. This isn't just like, hey, we're showing up on the weekend. We're playing wrestlers. No, we are professional wrestlers. This is our job. We're putting food on our family's table. So, and that's the attitude we bring, and that's what we're going to bring to London.
I would actually like to add to that too, because they talked about chip on their shoulders, and while it's a different type of a chip, I could tell you that with DEFY, we actually have that same chip because we know when we see our shows, when we look at our events. This past Saturday, I would put that event up against any event that anybody has seen this year in terms of action across the board and enjoyability of fans. I'd put those shows that we've been producing up against anything in the world. And you're going to walk away thinking, oh my God, this is the top of the mountain right here. The way that the Bollywood Boyz came out this past Saturday and defeated the Billington Bulldogs from the UK, that match right there, you could see that match on WrestleMania. You could see that match at All In, in Wembley. You could see that match all around the world in every major stadium. And this company from Seattle, Washington, DEFY Wrestling, is putting on the best shows, bar none, not depending, across the board. And that puts a chip on our shoulder too.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that, Matt, actually, because I want to dig more into that, because the way I see DEFY is like, I don't know if you're aware of them, but is the way I see a company over here in the UK called North Wrestling, who are based out of Newcastle. And the chip on their shoulder at North, which rightly so, is the fact that they're putting on some of the best shows in the country right now. But Newcastle's really out the way in terms of the UK. Obviously, I appreciate it's very different than the US, because for us in London, it's like a 6-hour drive to Newcastle, and for you guys, that's nothing. That's just a regular journey. But for us, that's out the way. And they have that chip on their shoulder that we're putting these great shows, but it feels like the North is very underappreciated wrestling-wise. And it feels like, as an outsider, and that's why I want to get your take on it, as an outsider, it feels like DEFY is maybe a bit like that, because you're sort of stuck there right in the top corner of the country, away from any other sort of major US wrestling promotion. And it feels like not necessarily that you necessarily get forgotten about, but that you're steadily building this portfolio of amazing shows. And a little focus seems to just be on other promotions when maybe it shouldn't be.
Yeah, I see that very much. And the Northwest of the United States has always had that reputation of kind of being the black hole of professional wrestling. And even up in Vancouver, where the Bollywoods are from, because we are so far out there. But we have drifted away into places like Toronto and Los Angeles and things like that. But yeah, I mean, there's positives to being up in that corner, but there's also that feeling, like you said, where, if we're exposed to a larger audience, fans will be like, oh my goodness, that is one of the top places to be in the world, right? So yeah, we do have that same mind frame.
Yeah, for sure. And that's good to hear. I think that's important though, isn't it? I think it's good to have that fire in your belly for it.
And Matt, just to add to that, I mean, your guys' shows speak, like you said, speak for itself. You have return investment on guys from AEW who show up once a month. You still have the Moxleys coming through. You still have so many of the AEW talent that still come through. That's because they appreciate the DEFY audience. They appreciate what you guys are doing. So, as much as I feel like people are seeing it and people are hearing what DEFY Wrestling is doing. That there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely seems like that. Especially over here, people know DEFY is huge. People know that this show All In weekend is massive because people are like, oh shit, Defy's coming over to run with Progress. Like, that's mega. And I know you guys have run before with Progress. Matt, how did that whole partnership with Lee and the Progress guys come about? Like, what was the catalyst for all of that initially?
Yeah, well, when we first came into business in 2017, we started chatting with Progress way back then, as we had similar ideas of how we wanted our product to be presented. Very similar minds. The original owners of Progress, we had, as far as our vision of what the aesthetics of the promotion we wanted it to look like. So when they came over here in 2018, we helped them promote, and we actually hosted them on an event out here in 2018 during one of their U.S. tours. And ever since then, we've gotten along well with them. The new owners as well, we got along with them very well. And so we've always worked together. We've done, sometimes we'll do things that's not even public. We'll just help someone out of a situation, or we will reach out to them and help somebody get booked, or vice versa. So it's just been a partnership through the years. We just recently were in Toronto where we did a joint show that was really successful, and we'll continue working together. Things like this, it's just kindred spirits, and we're very happy to be coming over finally.
Yeah, and we sort of mentioned it earlier how this whole weekend sort of feels like a WrestleMania weekend for the UK. So obviously, I'm just curious as an international promotion coming over. I want to know, does it have that same sort of pull for you guys? Does it feel like that big thing that's happening? Because I think when Progress went over to the US for their tours, and when they went over for WrestleMania weekend and stuff, it seems like the UK fans are buzzing for that. But obviously, I don't know how the US fans feel about that. Do you know what I mean? So how do you guys feel about coming over and what this sort of weekend means for everyone over here, especially the fans?
Yeah, I think the US fans are excited. They're also thinking, oh man, we don't get to watch this live unless they travel over there. But it just kind of opens up the scope, the global awareness of the promotions. If it's your home promotion, you have to be excited because more eyes get on it, There's guys like Mark Haskins, who Defy has been wanting to work with for years, where we're finally going to make it happen. Sunshine Machines, those guys are awesome. It's going to be great to work with those guys. And in return, those guys are going to come over and work for Defy soon in the United States. So that's going to be great. It just exposes the fans to more names, different people, different experiences.
Yeah, and for you guys, Harv, Gurv, I mean, what would your I guess it's sort of almost your parting shot, your parting message be to TK Cooper and Chuck Mambo ahead of coming over, ahead of this huge match, Defy Progress, and in terms of what they can expect from you guys in the ring, and almost I guess the beating you're going to give them, because I'm sure it will be.
Well, it kind of harkens back to what we kind of mentioned, we're all about having fun and entertaining the audience, but when that bell rings, they got to know that we're fighting. We're fighting, like I said, that's, again, not a t-shirt, that's not a slogan. We're fighting to put food on our table. That's real. That's not BS. That's real. And we're not going to hold back. We want to be seen. We want the world to watch us even more. And yeah, when that bell rings, sorry guys, the dancing stops because the butter chicken ass kicking is going to start.
I mean, that right there pretty much sums it all up. I mean, for us, again, we're coming over without the home field advantage. So what we expect to, hear some boos or not have a full-on Bollywood chant going on. But, nothing's going to change. We're still going to come out, have fun, man, because we know the UK has a big East Indian population. So, hoping to see a lot of our Punjabi friends and family, folks out there doing the Bhangra with us. So, we're looking for the next butter chicken spot after the show. So, that'll be things we do after the show. But as far as the match goes, man, again, we've got so much riding for us. We got the momentum going for us. Confidence is sky high. So we're just going to come out here, do our thing, and can't wait to, like my brother said, put that butter chicken beat down.
Love it. In terms of the butter chicken after the show, I don't know if they serve butter chicken, but I can tell you the best Indian restaurant in London is called Dishoom, and that is that's phenomenal. If you have the time to check it out, I'd recommend it.
You let Matt know them. We'll post celebration. We'll go there.
Yeah, you got to look up Matt. It's called Dishoom. It's fab. I'll send you the link to it's easily the best Indian in London. You wouldn't be disappointed. wouldn't be disappointed. But I was gonna say, in terms of that, like, how, like, are you guys over for a lot? Like, do you get a bit of time? Like, are you over for AEW? Are you gonna be seeing the show as well, or like, what is your like schedule like?
As far as us, we'll wait. Hopefully, our travel will allow us to get some downtime and check out the show as well. I know a lot of these shows are in and out, but we'll see what the weekend brings. But we're excited. You know, we're pumped. So, Matt, I'll let you take over the rest.
I'm hoping to see some sites myself, but I haven't seen the travel itinerary yet, so depends on that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you haven't either. Like, I thought you would.
No, I haven't seen it yet. I got to check it out. Yeah.
That was good though. Well,
that's not my that's not my department usually, is the travel part. So
right.
Yeah.
I'm driving there right now.
Got to get it done. You got to get it done. No, that's good. That's good. Well, let me know if you need any recommendations. I can always let you know where's good in London, like for pretty much anything. Like, yeah, London's a great city, and like hopefully you get some downtime to enjoy it, and that'd be great.
I do want to mention, like, man, we've been to the UK a lot during the WWE Europe tours, so we've always had amazing support, the love, and just the audience. Just, you know, they come to the hotels, they come to the arenas, and they're such amazing fans. And, you know, we've done like so many tours years. So this is our first one in 2 years, pretty much. And so, yeah, no, we're excited because there's a lot of people that want to see us too.
Yeah.
We're really excited to be out in the UK, and that I really mean that.
Yeah, for sure. And before we get on to some other bits, like the rest of the card for the show and some other fun features that we have here, I just want to know from you guys, Harv and Gurv, like, we mentioned like almost like the chip on shoulder kind of thing for DEFY, and I mentioned it for North Wrestling as well. I want to know for you guys, because you sort of hearkened to it earlier, about was there for you guys returning to the indies that chip on your shoulder? Like you mentioned, like fans had been like, we didn't know you could do that because you didn't do that in WWE. Was there that chip on your shoulder being like, we want to prove that we're more than what people saw on TV?
Yes and no. I mean, hell, we got fired literally while we were showing up for in-ring training. You know, so like, you know, we had our boots in our hands, and we get the call, and you're like, okay, you're no longer needed. So again, you know, we continued training even that afternoon after our release. But again, you know, I don't know, Harv. What's your take on that?
Feel like, like we honestly lived our dream, you know, and we were treated very well. You know, I have complaints ever about my time in WWE. I loved every second there. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. No job you ever have. You could be a lawyer, an engineer, a doctor. It's never going to be perfect. But overall, man, again, we got a chance to live our dream, work with legends and heroes, but we weren't really ourselves. And that's not a secret to anybody. We played a part of someone else's vision, and sometimes you have to do that. So when we did get fired, it was like, okay, let us prove what we can really do. There was no chip on our shoulder. There was no this anger or resentment, man. We were like, how many people ever even will make it to WWE? That's the truth, right? We did it. We experienced it. And now we get to experience this different journey that we didn't experience either the first time. Because like I said, when we got signed to WWE the first time, we're more localized Canadian talent. And now we really feel I could be taking this out of context, but like I feel we're independent tag team stars.
Yeah.
You know, anywhere we go, we're recognized, we're appreciated, and yeah, we're still building ourselves, but we're getting that indie run that we never did. So if we hadn't got fired, we wouldn't have experienced this.
And also, we love this business so much. I mean, this was never plan B for us. Wrestling was always plan A. So for the transition wasn't like, oh my God, what's next for us? Like, are we going to continue? Hell yeah, we're going to continue. We've been doing it 2 years after our release. So, I mean, we never look at like, what's next? It's like, just keep pushing. If anything, we just keep getting better and better. And, you know, the confidence, again, the number one thing in this business is confidence. And when you have that, it's hard to break.
Yeah, for sure. And Matt, before we get back to you, I want to ask the guys just one more thing in terms of away from DEFY. Obviously, you know, you're Vancouver natives, you're Canadian natives. Like in terms of that coming through that scene when you left. Well, I'd say from again speaking to other Canadian wrestlers that we've had on the show, when you guys left that scene to go to WWE. I feel like it's night and day looking at it now, like how far the Canadian scene has come. Like, do you guys see it that way? Like, I just want to get like your views on the Canadian scene now, because yeah, again, it feels like from what is it now, like seven years ago or so, it feels like it's just grown so incredibly.
Even like Vancouver alone has like, I think off the top of my head, had like 4 or 5 wrestling promotions now, like just running every weekend, and you're like, what? There's a promotion there, there's a promotion here. Like, when we left, there was like maybe 2, and now there's 5, 6 off the top of my head, and it's beautiful to see everyone's working every weekend, even if it is just in Vancouver. People are working, and it's all about making that money and getting that experience. And I think the kids now, I call them kids because we're literally like. We're like, the age difference is crazy between, sometimes you figure out, what, you're all here? So, and a lot of the guys that we were working with no longer even wrestle anymore here up in the Canadian independent scene. So for us, again, I think it goes back to what I was just saying a couple minutes ago, that we love this so much that I don't feel like the wheels are going to fall off, hopefully, anytime soon for us, because,
I want to add to that. I know Gurv and I have talked about this, like, back when we were on the indies in Canada prior to WWE, we'd have to drive everywhere. It would be like long 10, 12, 13, 14. I remember driving 72 hours for a show all the way in Manitoba, driving on Frozen Lake, doing the Edge and Christian Northern Death tours. And now Gurv and I show up to the airport and everybody's got flights. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, when did the money come in? That's that money's there now on the Canadian scene. 7 years ago, if you wanted to get booked, promoter would be like, here's your gas money, drive 17 hours. And we did Lethbridge and Saskatchewan and Toronto. Yeah. No one would anybody out back then.
Yeah, I was going to say, because we've spoken to Canadian wrestlers. I think most recently we had Vaughn Vertigo on. And we've spoken to him, we've spoken to other Canadian wrestlers, we've spoken to Australian wrestlers as well. And that's the thing I think Canada and Australia have in common, is they're both the scenes that a lot of the time I hear, like, that's the underappreciated scene. You know what I mean? Everyone talks about, like, Europe or the UK or Japan or the US. But, like, Canada and Australia seem like these underground, like, wrestling scenes where the wrestling's incredible and you just need people to, like, sit up and take notice of them and see how good it really is.
And sorry, I mean, I don't want to prolong this answer anymore, but, like, that's why, like Matt was referring to the Pacific Northwest as the black hole of professional wrestling. It was, when we broke in, it kind of still is, not as much as more, but like that's why we were going to like Harley Race's camps in Eldon, Missouri, or OVW camp, FCW camp, just to get noticed, just to be seen. So yeah, man, things have changed a lot, and in a good way. So I'm very happy for so much of the talent in Canada getting the experience that they rightfully all deserve.
Yeah, for sure. And that's great to hear. It's great to see as well. It's great to see. And the funny thing is, well, like, again, I don't want to age you guys, but you mentioned the age thing. And, like, I assume for you guys, it's like someone like Nick Wayne proves that a lot, right? You see someone like Nick Wayne. Because, like, I know that us on, like, the British scene, it's Leon Slater, who comes in, like, 19 years old and steals the show every match. He's phenomenal. He's on the Progress show as well. You'll get to, like, obviously see more of him on the Progress show. But, like, he's just ridiculous, and it really ages you, doesn't it? It really makes you feel like shit, like fucking hell.
Well, there's a picture of us with Nick. He was literally, I think, 13 or 12, a year before we got signed, and like 7 years later, he's 19 and like the top star right now. So it's awesome to see. And again, his dad was so awesome to us. We love Buddy and we miss him.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And no, for you, Matt, like obviously we've got the Bollywood Boyz here, and they've got a great match, and we've spoken about that. But you've got a whole stacked, like absolute, like stacked is an understatement. I don't know what the level above stacked is, but like
yeah,
you got an incredible card going here. I think like the match I'd want to talk to you about, like that really intrigues me, is because of the dynamic that it's a Washington promotion in the UK, and yet you've got an all Texas match with Hyan versus Vert Vixen, and like. That just seems like wild. Like that's just super cool.
Right. Yeah, I didn't even think about that at first, but yeah, we've got two women from Texas wrestling each other in London. So that's going to be very interesting. But Vert has been a very successful champion for us. She's wrestled all across the globe. She just got back from Japan. She's had some successful tours in Canada, and I know this is her first trip to the UK, and she's super excited for that as well. But she's been busy. She's one of those girls that has been grinding for the last few years and has really proven to be successful.
Yeah. And we talk about as well, like in terms of another match you got going on, obviously, like, I mean, we're here to talk about Defy Progress, but again, another match that intrigues me simply because of who's in it is Shaft versus Gabriel Kidd, because Gabriel Kidd's obviously incredible. Yeah. I don't know if you guys have seen, but like RevPro have announced him for a match later on that afternoon, where he's teaming with David Finlay against Shibata and El Phantasmo. And in my mind, I'm like, how is he going to get to that match all right if he's taking on Shaft before? Do you know what I mean?
I know, right?
Like, you're going to wear it out.
gonna beat the absolute living tar out of each other. Both guys are hard hitters. They're very physical wrestlers. It's going to be pretty amazing because in my mind, Gabe's one of those guys who, in the next year or two, is probably going to be one of the biggest stars in wrestling. And Shaft, he's just the guy who's waiting to get signed. He should be a big star right now. He's a big star for Defy. I can't wait to see that match myself.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, like there's the big one, isn't it? The first, like the match that was announced. I think first match announced, wasn't it? For it was Kenta Haskins, and like there's so much hype around that. That's gonna be incredible.
Yeah, Kenta, you know, he's a different kind of a guy, and he's going to be defending the Defy Championship that he beat Nick Wayne for against Mark Haskins, who's over the last 10, 12 years probably one of the best UK-based wrestlers out there.
Yeah, and obviously Nick Wayne's on the card as well. That's like I know it's like not on the Defy show, but like again, I just want to know again in terms of those like high flyers, who's going to steal the show out of Nick Wayne and Leon Slater over the whole that whole weekend. Like one of them, both of them, I feel like are going to do mental things, and it's just who goes the further with it.
Right, and you know, here's the thing: is Casey Navarro? He's going to be making his debut in the UK as well. The guy's got skills, man. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he's very talented. Very good. He's almost like a protege of Matt Cardona. But he's got a lot of skills, and he's very intent on proving himself in the UK.
Yeah, and for you guys, Harv, Gurv, like we sort of alluded to it earlier, but we run through all those matches. Like, is there, and again, just generally with Defy, like when you're doing your shows regularly, like, is there that in locker room competition of like we're gonna make sure we have the best match on the card, and like following into that, like with such a stacked card, how are you guys gonna make sure you have the best match on the card?
Right. No, I was just gonna say the competition's always there, and that's good, healthy. It's but at the same time, there's a brotherhood. You know, Defy locker room is a different locker room than we've been in. So it's like a family, and I really mean it's like this community. Every weekend or when we come down, it's like you feel like you're at home. But at the same time, you see a guy like Nick Wayne, who's 19 and he's killing it. Yeah, it makes you, after 16, 17 years of doing this, makes you be like, okay, you know, still got something to prove, right? And so we do want to step up and we do want to deliver. Then you got Kenta, who, you know, we spent a lot of time with him in NXT. He's a good friend of ours, so it's gonna be good to see him. But you know, he's a dangerous guy when he's in the ring. That's gonna be as far as how we feel. It goes back to what we answered, man. We stay in our lane. We focus on ourselves. We don't get distracted.
I think I could be wrong, but I believe we're the only tag match on the card. So right there, that sets us apart from every other match. So, you know, tag team wrestling, when done right, is a beautiful thing. You know, the psychology, it's so much different than any other match you can expect. So, you know, being a tag match on the card is going to be different. And as far as talent, I couldn't agree more with Farmer. Shaft should be signed. I think he's got everything. Every show I see him, I was like, just looks incredible. He's like what a big professional wrestling organization looks for. So I'm looking forward to the weekends. I'm just glad everybody's going to get an opportunity to shine in their own way.
For sure, absolutely. We've got a couple of fun features here on the show, a couple of like regular features here on the show. Matt, for this first one, I think like we'll include you as well, but like you can take a little bit. It won't take too long, but you can take a little bit of a back seat and enjoy the banter that's going to go on here, because our first one is I normally do it for couples because it's sort of a Mr. and Mrs. type thing, but we're going to do it for you guys because obviously we're going to do it as like a sibling thing rather than a Mr. and Mrs. thing. So I'm going to pose some questions to you, and I want you to tell me who does it better, essentially.
All right.
Okay. So the first one is who's the better cook?
I'm getting up there.
Yeah.
Me though. I with good macro friendly.
Yeah. Honestly, I'll give it to Harv on that one.
Yeah.
He comes out with recipes that I'm like, damn, I gotta try that. 100%.
I'll make you these Rice Krispie protein bars. I'll bring you this.
Ooh.
During our drives to Seattle, I'm always like, where did you get this from? He's like, oh, I looked it up. I'm like, can I have one?
Love it. Yeah. Well, it leads nicely into the next one, because the next one is who's the pickiest eater out of you two?
Gurv.
Yeah.
Really? I would say him. He's a stickler for his macros. He's all about like counting his macros.
You have the one set thing. You can't.
That's true. Yeah.
Like, geez, like.
Yeah, I have my set. Like, I need my chicken and rice. I need my egg whites. Whereas Harv will like have different things. So okay, I'll take that one.
No, I like it. And the next one is who takes whether it's for your match or post show afterwards. Who takes the longest to get ready?
Post match or pre match?
Like either. Like if even if it's different for pre match and post match, but
That'd be me.
Yeah. So pre match, I got my boots on. So I don't know. I'm just like, I'm at work. I gotta get ready. You know, I can't get ready during intermission. I just mentally, I'm like, I gotta put my boots on. Even like while I could be second last, but I'll be putting my boots on at 7 p.m. if we're not going on till 10. You know what I'm saying? It's just mental. It's just a mental thing for me. So, and then I'll be looking at Harv. I'm like, come on, man, get ready. You gotta.
I'm drinking my Starbucks and talking to Matt right here.
love it.
Yeah, our stock of the office. Gurv's getting ready.
Yeah, I'm all business.
Love it. The next one's a key one, obviously, because you travel all across the country, all across the world wrestling. So I guess the key question is, who's the better driver?
Oh, that's me.
Yeah?
100%. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Harv doesn't seem to agree. Yeah. Harv seems to disagree.
No. Ask Jinder. I drove, Jinder shotgun, Harv in the back. that was a setup.
Awesome.
Even now, I'll put it on cruise control and I get on the HOV lane and away I go.
Amazing. The next one is it's back to food, but like, who has the better cheat meal, the better, like, you know, post show, like, treat yourself meal? Whose is better?
That'd be mine, I think.
Yeah. What do you guys go for?
I'm up with you should try this donut spot I found, and
yeah, that's true. Yeah, Harv's a better cheat meal guy. I'll just like piggyback off his. I'm like, okay, I'll have it the next day.
Yeah. Nice. The next one is, who's got the better music taste?
Oh, that's me.
Yeah?
No, yeah.
What do you listen to?
Big Tupac guy. Ask Farmer.
Yeah, Tupac. Yeah, we all ride Tupac, man. We will listen to Tupac.
Yeah,
so.
We grew up on the 90s West Coast. That's hip hop. That's it.
Love it.
We're stuck
Classic.
Yeah. We stuck in the 90s.
Oh,
I'll put on a theme song instead. I'm like, yo, let's listen to this for 3 hours.
No, it's good. It's good. All good music. All good. The next one is we got some wrestling ones as well. A couple of them actually aren't applicable because, like I say, normally I say like it's a Mr. and Mrs. thing. So I've got one that's like who looks best in the other's gear, but it's pretty much the same gear, so it wouldn't apply to you at all. The next one is who looks better with the tag belts around their waist? Who pulls it off better with the gold around their waist? Do you think out of the two of you?
We'll let Matt answer that one.
Oh yeah, go on,
Matt.
Ooh, that's a heat answer. Yeah, I don't know if I can answer that one.
I've always said
I don't know.
gold.
Yeah, I think gold just looks good on us.
Yeah.
Long overdue.
Yeah.
Just both of you, I think. Yeah. It's always
Yeah,
classic.
I think,
Yeah. Love the shine of it.
That's a toss-up.
You're saying it was me.
The next one is the next one's obviously it's got to be done. It's like if you two faced off in a match against each other, who would win?
Oh man.
Oh. I don't know.
I gotta talk to you at the next show.
I think it would depend on if it was a hardcore match or not.
If it's a first blood match. If it was
exactly. If it was a first blood match, we know who's winning.
You. Harv's gonna give me all the color.
Awesome. I got 10 minutes left, so that's all good then. That's all good. Well, no, that was all good. Well, we won't dish the dirt on anyone yet. They've saved you. The time limit has saved you here from getting any real heat on anyone.
You're getting no dirt.
Yeah. Well, no. In terms of that, I'll get a little bit of dirt because I'll ask you the two key questions we ask everyone in the dishing the dirt segment. I want you both all to answer. The first one that I say is the one that will get you the most heat. Is who outside the ring? We're not talking about ring gear here. Who has the worst dress sense in terms of the DEFY locker room?
Among the Bollywood Boyz?
No. Just in terms of the whole DEFY.
We're always in the Bret Hart gear, so it doesn't matter.
No. In terms of the whole DEFY locker room. Like, does anyone walk in like their regular clothes and you're like, what are you wearing?
Oh, it's got to be Shaft because he will wear Crocs everywhere.
Is that right?
Yeah, he'll show up with shorts and Crocs no matter where he goes. So yeah,
that is ridiculous. I love that. Like, would you guys agree, Harv, Gurv? Would you agree with that? It's Shaft who's got the worst dress sense, or is someone worse?
I think he wrestles in the stuff he shows up in.
If he wears the Crocs, that's good. We got a wrestler over here, Alexis Falcon, who he'll love because she loves Crocs as well, and I don't get it. I don't understand the Croc hype, but I don't understand it at all. The next one I want to get into, just as a short part of this, is who do you think in the DEFY locker room would throw the best party? Who throws the best party in the locker room? Not in the locker room, but who in the locker room would throw the best party?
You mean the wrestlers?
Yeah.
Because I would probably throw the best party.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say Matt.
Because a lot of the young wrestlers today, they don't party. So, where I come from, a generation where that's all we did. So, I don't know. I can't think of anybody that's a big partier.
No, but if it's you, that's fine. That's fine. You're leading the line. I like it.
Yeah.
I think everyone's so serious about their business, which is good.
Yeah, it's always important.
Maybe Guillermo Rosas would probably be the dude.
Oh yeah, that'd be
Yeah, he would probably be the guy that would probably have a nice siesta for everybody and party.
Nice. And the other one, I only picked out a few of the key ones because we ran out of time. But,
or Clark Connors. Connors would be the man.
Yeah? What sort of party would that be?
It would be R-rated.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, the last one on the dirt thing, I'll just do out because I only do out a few of them because we're running out of time. Is I'll start with you, Harv. I'll say if let's say you can't pick Gurv for this. Let's say someone else in the DEFY locker room. Who would you pick to be your partner in the zombie apocalypse?
Oh.
Who do you think? And you can use them for whatever purpose you want. You know, you can feed them to the wolves, as it were, or they can be like a tough guy who'll really just beat up everyone for you. Like, for whatever need you want, who would you pick?
I'd pick the Midnight Heat.
Yeah.
I pick them. I was like, yo guys, don't worry, it's safe over there. I think if there was an apocalypse, those guys would be fun to be around.
Yeah. Gurv, what about yourself? Who would you pick?
I'll go with Shaft.
Yeah.
You know, he's a badass, so I need that help, brother.
He's got the muscle, yeah. Take everyone down for you. You just like send him in.
Yeah.
Plus, I think he could probably he probably knows how to start a fire.
Yeah.
Let's hope.
And hunt.
Yeah.
He probably knows how to start a fire and hunt. So.
And then you pick him, and you realize he can't do that, and you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
I see what Harv's point is too. Those Midnight Heat guys are awesome, so they'll be a lot of fun to be.
Yeah.
Last 20 minutes of your life.
The last 20 minutes of your life, you might as well last it on.
I was going to say, I think if it's the end of the world, right, you need a bit of fun as you're going out, right? You need to enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly.
No, brilliant. What about yourself, Matt? Would you go Shaft as well, or?
Yeah, I would probably pick Shaft because I assume that he would know how to hunt and would probably have a bow somewhere on him. And he probably knows how to start a fire too because he lives out there, he lives out in the woods.
Yeah. No, I like it. Well, no, guys, I know we're running out of time here, but I really appreciate you taking the time to chat to me today ahead of this huge weekend for British wrestling, for DEFY, for Progress, and this show and what it's going to be. So I'm just going to go, we have a closing feature on the show where we give you guys a final bit of promo time, and I'm going to go around to each of you individually. So we'll start with you, Matt. I mean, if anyone's watching this and for some reason doesn't have their DEFY Progress tickets yet, what would you say to them in terms of, get your tickets? This is the show to see over All In weekend.
I would place my hands on their shoulders and shake them and just scream, what are you doing not buying tickets? Seriously, if you're a wrestling fan, somewhere around London area, anywhere around that area, and you plan on going to AEW, you need to be at the DEFY event. It starts at noon. It doesn't interfere with any of the other events. You're going to see a show that is different than everything else you're going to see over the weekend. You're going to see some of the biggest stars in wrestling right now, and you're also going to see some stars who will be big stars in the future, in the near future.
Yeah. Love it. And for you guys, Harv, Gurv, as a final, as a final push of like come to the show sort of, but also the one I always ask like the wrestlers, the in-ring talent that we have on the show is, if anyone's coming to Defy or doesn't have the tickets yet but gets the tickets, if anyone comes to the Defy Progress show, why are the Bollywood Boyz going to steal the show? Why are you guys going to be the ones to catch this weekend?
Well, I think in a general sense, what I talked about earlier is this is a culmination of 2 years of, grit, hunger, fire, desire, pain, pleasure, happiness, sadness, anger, all mixed emotions to be featured on the biggest weekend of the year so far, with a record-breaking weekend in the UK. This is a culmination for us. This is a dream come true, and that's not a BS. We've always wanted to work for Defy, always wanted to be part of Progress. And for us, this is literally the culmination of the last 2 years. And so for us, that is our WrestleMania. And so you're going to see the best of us. And Gurv, I know you feel the same way.
I mean, I'm not going to top that. He's speaking my language right now. This is it, right? I mean, again, it goes back to what we're talking about. We got a chip on our shoulder. None of this is BS. We're not playing a part of being, the Bollywood Boyz. Like, we're the Bollywood Boyz. We're going to come out and do Bhangra. We're going to have a great time. We're going to dance. We're going to do what we do at the Washington Hall, but we're doing it in the UK with, the music blasting. But when that bell sounds, you're going to see the tag team match of the night. It's the only tag team match of the night. And like we always say, brother, buddy, this is it for us. This has been 2 years of just hard work, grit, and it's all going to pay off this weekend.